school, in the pool, and Esme's fallen and knocked her tooth, and literally her tooth that was not loose at all is bleeding everywhere and hanging out of the side of her head like snagglepuss. So here I am, 3 minutes to go to get onto this call, and obviously just had to put the call to the side and deal with my distraught child who had a tooth hanging out of her head and blood everywhere, and everyone's wet because they're in the spa. It's hot, nice warm spa. 4 kids here. My brother had to go to work, so I've taken the extra kids. Yeah, I know, Jody. You get it right. School holiday. Background, yeah, then this one's raining in the background. I don't know what's happening there. This one, for some reason, it's not showing it to everybody. Let's just press share. Let's see. I'm just going to share it somewhere and see if how we get more people on here. Those 2 sisters, time to shine. There we go. I'm just clicking buttons willy-nilly. Let me know if you can see it on time to shine now. And thank you, team. Okay, I do have some content for you today, but I just wanted to share what happened firstly to sort of ease my nerves because I'm in a bit heightened state. Next minute, Gus is out there cutting down a tree with a bloody... the noise starts and the whipper-snipper starts, or the chainsaw or whatever it is, and I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm just not meant to do this today. But anyway, it's a really important topic. I'm going through a lot personally myself with the struggle and the chaos, and I just got a message from one of our close clients saying, you know, she thought this was the top of the problem. The things that have happened since we went back into lockdown in Melbourne, I know you guys have been in lockdown a lot more than us, but what it brings up is all this uncertainty and all this chaos because we had plans and we had things booked, and then what happens is you got to change all the little things, and everything that you do subconsciously and becomes normal, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we add on top of that, as we start to go through the processes, we go through this feeling of, some of you are feeling guilty because you're not affected by it as much if you're in a place that hasn't been locked down. I know I used to feel this a little bit with Melbourne. When Melbourne kept getting knocked down, I had this really heavy heart for all the people in Melbourne. Then I had this sense of guilt that they were getting locked down and I was footloose and fancy free, being able to go to events and hold events and do all the thing. So yeah, it's been really challenging. Please let me know. This one is not working for whatever reason. If I might be able to actually share it over there, or somebody, Kayla, I don't know if you can share it over to those 2 sisters, time to shine. For some reason, my computer's not working. It happened to Michelle last week as well. But anyway, I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to get the content out there and deliver this because there's more people than just me that need this right now. So the first part of the process most people go through, you're going to flight or fright. So you stick his head in the sand and you're just like, this isn't happening, I'm not dealing with it, I don't know, I'm just going to continue to carry on like normal as best I can. And then the other thing that will happen, and as time progresses, it's like, oh, this is affected and this is affected. And, you know, for some people it is your business, for some people it is your relationships, for some people it is, you know, this deep uncertainty of life and what's happening and how we're going to cope with everything. And for us, you all guys all know that just over a year ago when this first happened, Gus lost his job, which meant massive changes for my family. And so what's happening a lot, and I noticed this at the start of all this uncertainty, there's so many coaches out there going on and, you know, we dedicate our life to creating content, writing books, doing podcasts, doing magic PDFs, doing everything that we need to do to get it out there to help you through these times. And sometimes, similar to what's happening for me now, I'm experiencing it at the same time as you. This is really hard. Michelle, my sis, just jumped on. Did you hear what just happened? 3 minutes before the call, Esme's pretty much knocked her front tooth out, the one that wasn't wobbly. She's whacked it that hard. There's blood everywhere and it's hanging out the side of her head. So anyway, I've got Grace out there looking after her while I do this call. And of course, it's not working over on time to shine. I don't know what's happening. It says that it's not playing, but the time is ticking. So I don't know. Anyway, if you can share it to those 2 sisters, time to shine, please someone share it over there for me. Now, everyone here on my personal page listening to this, please share it because Facebook given us the willies and they'll only let this go out to like 8 people. Like 8 people have jumped on now and it's all you, yeah, waterfall, guys. It's the waterfall. Just imagine, I don't know, something funny with my phone. It's a waterfall. Rain in the background. It's very relaxing. I know you can still hear my voice. just get past the rain of the waterfall. If anyone knows why my freaking phone is doing that, please let me know. And you'll notice with me, sometimes the more heightened I am and crazy in flight or fright, I will train myself to be even like obnoxiously calm in these circumstances. So I bring my voice down, I slow my talking down. And yeah, Michelle says it's so relaxing. There you go. So yeah, I had a really hard morning. I've had a really hard couple of days. Our family locked down here. We go back without even realizing there's some post-traumatic stress there associated with when we got that phone call and Gus lost his job. We didn't know what was going to happen with the house. We didn't know how we were going to feed our kids. It was intense and it was a big change for our family. So whenever we get locked down without even realizing, it starts this pattern for us. So I just want you to recognize your patterns and your blueprints so we can stop it and we can cut it and we can change it, because this is the new way. This is a new way, and we can't keep having these really deep feelings. We've got to let them move through our body. But most of us aren't trained in moving through our emotions and feelings. We're taught to hold on to them. We're taught to bottle them up. So what this call is about is helping you recognize and understand how you actually feel. Flick the layer off it, give you a safe space to come, get the tools, the techniques, the strategies, the community, all the thing. But even more importantly, change the paradigm of what you're thinking and feeling. So we don't want you to be feeling guilty, because a lot of you are feeling guilty. I don't have it as bad as them. Gus is just about to start the chainsaw again. Welcome to my day. Also, everyone on here, it stopped at 8. Okay, so share it out or do lots of likes. If you do lots of likes as I'm talking, so now you've got the waterfall and the chainsaw. It's very relaxing. Can you guys hear the chainsaw? The love is coming through. Who is that? Is it Bronnie? Caroline? I see all the love. You know, I've blown my phone up one day. Some people gave me so much love. Facebook shut down the live because I don't know why, but me and Facebook have this love-hate relationship. But I'm on here. I'm doing it anyway. The point of this is that what I want you to do with whatever's happening for you right now is to feel the feelings. Really let the feelings go through, whether it's grief, whether it's trauma, whether it's uncertainty, whether it's chaos, whether it's whatever it is for you. You guys tell me, can you please share, everybody who is on here listening, here or here, if you're working over here, what are the feelings that are coming up for you in lockdown? Because even if you're not locked down, even if you live in a bubble and it's not affecting you in your life, you've got an internal representation and you've got some emotion or you've got some feeling around what's happening in the world right now. Because after this 3-day lockdown, 5-day, 2 weeks, whatever is happening, we all get back on with life like normal. But what happens is these emotions get stored in our body. And I know my big sis Michelle Ann did some lives on this a few weeks ago. These get stored in our body. And this is part of our work, is helping you release those feelings from your body so they don't start to create disease and illness in your body. We want it to move through you. So I'm going to wait for some answers to come in. There's still 8 of you, funnily enough. The number's still on 8. It won't show it to anymore. So give me some love, give me some answers. And then Facebook will go, oh, this is a popular thing. Let me show it to more people. If you're not a member yet of those two sisters, Time to Shine, haven't worked out how to get it on there yet, but you want to go over and join that page, because this is where we put a lot of the more personable, is that the right word, Michelle? Or the personal information in those two sisters, Time to Shine. Oh, I see the love coming through. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. So I want you to feel those emotions. Send through on the message what you're feeling. If you're watching this later, hashtag replay and let me know, because at the end of every day, I go through and I look at all the comments and I personally reply to almost every single one of them. So I want to know how you're feeling. This is what helps me create the content. The next book, the next magic PDF, the tips, the strategies, the podcast is when you tell me how you're feeling. So I've got one here. I feel a lot calmer than last year, so that's good. But I suspect that's because I'm so busy with work. It's a bit like when I had my sore back, I didn't feel my sore knee. How funny is that? Now my back's better, my knee's sore. But yeah, because you were so busy with work at this time of year, I haven't had a moment to sit and feel my feelings. So very important too, like just to understand and recognize that and get through the workload, because being an accountant and bookkeeper is that time of year for you. But dedicate and allocate some time at the end of the crazy period for you to sit and really feel your emotions. Otherwise, once again, it's going to come out in disease, illness, frustration, agitation, not sleeping well, eating shit food, scrolling Facebook, all the thing. And you just start doing this and you don't know why, and you get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Because guys, this isn't just about what I'm feeling personally, what about each and every single one are going through. It's a collective energy. And when each of us feel uncertain and chaotic and scattered of mind, which can happen through these times, it grows legs and it gets out there. When we feel that we're being divided, when we feel fearful, when we feel that we don't have any control over our own life and where we can go and what we can do with our time and space, then that filters out. But guess what? The other thing that filters out is love and grounding and a certain sense of calmness through all this. Now, this doesn't mean you have to stay calm through the whole thing, because that's what this message is about, and that's what this live is about, is really feeling the emotions and moving through it. My sister took the beautiful VIP and Silvers through a process last night online. We got to do it all online, where they really released. So I recommend to you ladies, continue to do that. The pillow work, you know what I'm talking about? Get in there and let it go through. And it's magical. It's so easy and accessible to all of you, and it's absolutely magical. The other thing is just to get super honest with how you feel. I've had some more come through, so I'm going to share. Michelle says, it's like, oh frick, here we go again, and the uncertainty of it will be extended past the 3 days. Yeah, exactly. So it puts us into the future. So we go into the anxiety and uncertainty of what's going to happen even further down the track. So then it future paces it, and then that becomes our reality. So we've got to keep bringing ourselves back. The tree just fell down. Oh, and I hear Gus go, "Ew!" That means he's still alive and the tree didn't fall on him. Michelle, my house is a madhouse today. Let me check my husband's not under that tree. Yeah, there he is. I've spotted him. It's all good. The tree's fallen down. Okay, back to it. The uncertainty past 3 days. So we want to bring ourselves back to the present moment, back to the present moment, back to the present moment. And once again, it's about feeling the emotions, getting yourself within a community, a group of people, a coach, a mentor, a guide, a facilitator, a healer, whoever you work with, somebody that can hold space for you, not just to flick you into the positive, not just to flick you back to gratitude, not just to flick you back to love and light. There's a time and space for that, but too many of us have got too good at going straight to that, because it's actually really awkward and really messy and really icky to feel the terrible, thick, awful emotions, which I'm going to do when I get off this. I'll probably call my sister and be like, woo. Anyway, husband's still alive, the chainsaw's going again. My sis Michelle then says she's embracing the stopping and staying home, so like really feeling the slowing down of thing. And I wrote this in the newsletter today. Everybody check your inbox. It should be there pretty soon. A bit of a recap of what I'm talking about here. But every time there is a loss, so loss of income, loss of finance, loss of relationship, loss of health, loss of people, loss of something, it's a universal law. That's one-sided. In order to be whole, it's got to have a gain. And I watched Wonder Woman last night. I don't watch TV, but late last night I said to guys, I just need to switch my brain off. We've had such big stuff happening in our personal life. And I watched Wonder Woman, and that's what it was about. Like, people got a wish. There was this rock, it was citrine, and they touched it and they got a wish. But at the flip side of the wish, they got their wish, but it was at the expense of their truth. So they couldn't have both. And life is a little bit the same as that. So looking at what's being lost, opportunities, finances, income, soul purpose, livelihood, relationships, what it really is at a deeper level and a deeper understanding. And this is why so many of you follow me, because it resonates with you. Your soul gets it. It understands. It's a transition, like a transformation of form. Nothing is ever fully lost. You will look, if you look and you can pinpoint, you'll see it or you'll feel it, that thing or that idea or that vibration or that concept comes back to you in a transformed form. It's always there for you in wholeness, in the universal law. So I really want you to look through that, because what our brain will do, and mine does it too, is like, oh no, we lost our income, and we grieve that. Gus lost his soul purpose at that time. And I felt like I was in grief, and I had lost a lot of certainty, and I'd lost a lot of income just even over the couple of days that we're in lockdown. 3 days is thousands of dollars of income for me, just gone, just like that, because there's been made decisions in order to keep us protected, that's gone. But then I say, okay, well, if that's been lost, once I feel those feelings and grieve it and really let myself go there, in time I will sit and go, well, what was gained? Where was that transformation of form? Where was that gifted back to me? And it can be with time. I've got time here with my kids, time here with you guys, And if it wasn't, I'd be off out doing something else. Okay, so I'm going to share. Natasha, thank you for sharing. I feel more anxious this time than the last one in April because of how busy the shop was, and now I have to compensate the financials without an income. But I also feel horrible, unable to be with my family on such a big, massive day for our family. I feel so guilty. I'm homesick and not with my mum and your brother. Yeah, and this is what it brings up, right? This feeling of separation, isolation, loneliness, and guilt. Please let me know, thank you for sharing, Tash, if you have felt isolated, lonely, separated, or guilty in the last little bit. And so the important thing for you, Tash, and anybody that might be feeling like this, don't skip past these feelings. Let's not go down there and unpack and stay there for 6 bloody weeks or 6 months. Give yourself a timeline. Today, perhaps tomorrow, perhaps the whole 3 days, and really feel the grit. Really feel the pain, really feel the grief. Reach out if you need extra support in that. I know you were on the call last night, so that would have been very therapeutic for you to get that out. You've got that in your tool belt now, the pillow work, the primal scream. Some of you can do it into a pillow. Others of you can do it in the laundry cupboard. Make sure you sage it after. But we've got to have this release. And we've got to let it out, and we've got to let it move through you. Now, the other thing is, on the extended family page for a lot of my clients, we've got the shake to freedom. So it's like shaking out the guilt, the frustration, the anger, the loss, the grief, shaking it out of your body, like moving it out of your body, because your body often doesn't get a chance to finish its adrenaline loop. So what's happening for a lot of us now is we're going back to post-trauma from previous times, uncertainties and trauma. It's all being brought to the surface, and most of us will get busy, start scrolling, do whatever to shove it down. So what you want to do is, in a safe and sacred environment, is let it all rise to the surface and let it be big and let it explode out of the top. You want to be supported while you're doing this, which is why me and Michelle do what we do. But a small way to experience that is to feel the shake. Like we call it the shake to freedom, and we put some raging music on, and you move your body in a way that you don't usually move it, and you feel the heartbreak, you feel the pain, you feel the grief, you feel the torment, you feel like not just of this lifetime either. This is big. This can be lineages of stuff coming through for people. All of the stuff coming through. It might not even be this lifetime for you. It could be previous lifetimes all coming through in this lifetime. So you shake it off and you use that raging music, and you breathe and you sound and you move and you get it out. And then what you do is, as that starts to transform, you'll feel liberated. You'll know, you'll feel it. You'll just be like, oh my gosh, it feels different now. Sometimes it's 1 minute, sometimes it's 2 minutes, usually not very long, in that sort of really like elevated state of getting it and shaking it out. But yeah, shake it out, and then you move into these liberated movements, and you put some music on, and you let your energy be elevated, even if it's just for a little bit. And then you can really drop into your body and really support yourself and nourish yourself through these hard times. Once again, I'm just going to say it again. Don't just get busy. Don't just get back on into everything and pretend everything's okay. We've got to let these emotions move through us, or it's like built up, explode. And we all know different ways things explode in our life, don't we? So release that. That's a couple of things you can do today. Reach out to a friend, talk to somebody who can hold space with you, not go into victimhood with you, not go and pat you on the back and go, it's okay, but just be there. Just be there. For you to have your outburst, to have your explosion, to do the shake with you, to liberate and free yourself from these deep, dark emotions and feelings, which is what times like this bring up. So I'm definitely back on the crap food and the mindless Facebook scroll. First thing I wanted to do when I heard about lockdown, I wanted to go and buy a cheesecake. Thank you so much for being honest. Who else felt like that? And you know what? As your coach, guys, I'm going to give you full permission to go and buy the cheesecake. Go buy the chocolate. Go buy a KFC, whatever the hell you think you want right now. Allow yourself to have it. Give yourself permission to have it, and stop making it bad and wrong. Because the more you make it bad and wrong, the more you're going to hide it from yourself, trick yourself, hide it from others, and then that continues this spiral of guilt and frustration and anxiety and resentment and anger in ourselves and disappointment in ourselves. Eat the bloody cake and move on from it. I can tell you something magic happens when you just give yourself permission to eat the cake, eat the chocolate. But the key here is two things. Two conditional things. If you do this, you've got to commit to it. One, you've got to ask yourself before you take a bite of that cake, do I really want this? have that conversation. And if the answer is yes, I bloody well want it, you eat it. And the second thing there is, if you choose to eat it, you enjoy every mouthful and you are present with every mouthful. I can guarantee when you give yourself permission to eat it, when you ask yourself if you really want it and you commit to enjoying every mouthful rather than just stuffing it in. Donut broccoli pies, honestly, some of you will get that. Someone put in the emojis, donut broccoli pie. What will happen for you is you'll have a piece and you'll enjoy it and you'll put the rest back. So you're going to give yourself permission. You're going to ask, do I really want this? If the answer is yes, the commitment is to enjoy every bite of it. So give yourself permission, do that, and it will change your life. The other thing here is you want to give yourself a time limit. I'm going to eat chocolate and cake until tomorrow, and then I'm going to get back. And there is a podcast there about falling off the wagon, which is what some people call this. The fall off the wagon after the podcast and the information I give you in the podcast is actually the trigger to get back on track. See, a lot of people will fall off the wagon because of events outside of our control and then unpack down there and spend a week, 2 weeks, 6 months, a year down there, get completely overweight, anxious, resentful, and unpack, and they'll stay down there. But if you say, do that process I did with the cake, whether it's scrolling this, that, or the other, say, do I really want this? I'm going to enjoy it. And then give yourself a time limit. By tomorrow, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, but you give yourself a time limit. And this is why when I'm teaching you guys to be disciplined to your calendar, everything I tell you to do, particularly my close clients, all of you in fact, everything I offer for you to do is for a reason, and you don't know that reason. The first thing is because I chunk it right down and I teach you to do this, follow your calendar, go for your walks in the morning, because when we get to the big stuff like eating the cake and staying disciplined with your calendar, I've trained you back here in order to say, 2 days time I stop eating cake and I get up and I start doing my morning walks. I've already trained you to trust yourself and listen to yourself. Now that's why what I do works, because it's not a quick fix. It's not here, take this pill. We're real. We feel our emotions. We feel our feelings. And then I'm training you every step of the way, training your brain to trust yourself, live by your own rules, break your rules, create your own rules, set your boundaries. So when you get to the big things, it's just a very organic and natural process onto the next thing. So the takeaway there, give yourself permission, ask yourself if you really want it, and then you've got to enjoy it. And then you set a time limit for the habits that you do when you're down there in the dumps, when you're in the depression, when it's really hard. You set yourself a timeline. I'm going to grieve and feel like shit for 2 days, 3 days, whatever. And then you get out of it. So look at me getting serious. I'm also worried if it is extended, which I haven't been worried about with a shorter 3-day one previously. Yeah, so what our brain will do, guys, is when you start lifting and moving through some of the crap, it's going to find, we're wired to do this, something else to worry about. So we're going to move through some of this, which you probably got out last night, Tash. You moved through it. Oh, the subconscious says there's a space here. She moved that out. What can I insert in this space? Well, let's just start to worry about what's going to happen on the other side of this. Let's really start to worry about what happens if it goes for 7 days? What happens if it goes for 2 weeks? Well, we don't bloody know. But if we bring ourselves to a present moment, feel the emotions, move through them, we will be in creation mode. Writing songs, writing poems, getting our feelings out, expressing stuff, creating online courses. I saw a quick message come from you, Tash. I haven't had a chance to read it as Mo's tooth was hanging out of her head, but I'll get to it this afternoon. Same as you, Jody. I'll get back to you this afternoon. But yeah, it'll find stuff. So when you remove stuff by doing the pillow work or anything that I give you, it's really important that we embed something new into it, that you choose. Don't let your subconscious choose. It's been wired for fear and worry. It's going to look out there and grab onto the smallest little thing and blow it up for you. So if you've got some space there now from last night, and that's instead of replacing it with the worry, let's write a song about it. Let's write a poem about it. Let's be creative about it. Let's fill it with, moving that way and doing a dance or making a phone call. Let's replace it. And I want you to choose what you replace it with. Otherwise, your subconscious will give you the bottom of the barrel stuff. And that doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It actually means that you're normal because that's what we're designed to do, because it's in protection. But when we're off in the future worrying about the future, I'm the same. I'm going through the same shit, Tash. Like what happens, just a couple of $1,000s just in these few days. What happens if it is seven days? What happens if it is longer than this? And I just keep bringing myself back to the now and focusing on this very present moment right now and now and now. And then when I'm here, I can't worry about that. And when I'm embedding, you know, calls with my support people and calls with you guys, that's what I'm replacing the worry with. And then that changes our vibration. And it'll help you move through, or the feelings move, the emotions move through you quicker. Like a lot of you are dealing with a lot of deep stuff at the moment. And times like this in the world just keep bringing it all up for you. Bringing it up, bringing it up. Now it's dropped me back down to 8, so share, love and like. Okay, let's go into some of the benefits. The benefits I have from this time is to slow down. So once again, we can replace the things that we've removed with, you know, the things that we do when we slow down. Have a cup of cacao, have a cup of tea, make a phone call, write in your journal, write a song, write a poem, all those things that we used to do before we had business or before we had kids, and we used to love to do, and we could just do it from home, paint rocks, find rocks, sit and feel the sun on our skin, make ourselves a special meal, have a cup of tea. You can do all that. Let's start replacing the worry, the anxiety, the resentment, the guilt with times like that. And once again, in the journal, you can write angry, swear words. You can have a fire. Most of you hopefully are somewhere you can have a little fire and just go out and start the fire and put it all in the fire, burn it up. Spend the times on the things I usually can't. Make time to work out. Yes, this is a big one. Morning ritual I wanted to touch on. And spend time doing work for the business. I can't do when I'm busy. I'm learning the balance. Yeah, and there never is really any balance, is there? Here's a key just before I move on to yours, Katrina, is morning routine in times like this is paramount, but I don't want it to be really rigid and really structured. Basically, it's about time to tune in to yourself every morning and ask yourself, how do I feel and what do I need right now? What do I need right now in this moment? So my morning routine when I'm under this amount of pressure and stress as I am at the moment is different to when everything's rosy. When everything's rosy, I'm up walking at 4 o'clock in the morning because I just wake up without an alarm. I wake up, I do my walk, my tapping, my affirmations. I listen to music, I listen to podcasts. Sometimes I listen to myself, listen to the birds. And I get home and I work out like a bloody trucker, like big, hardcore, what do they call those? Beast. I'm a beast mode in the gym, or I go to the gym and I lift really heavy weights. Now when I've already got so much external weight on me and external pressure at the moment, it's a lot softer and slower in the morning. I woke up at 7 o'clock, no alarm, and instead of feeling guilty or chastising myself for that, I just go and sit and have a warm drink. I journal. The kids wake up. I sit with them. This morning I went for a walk with them. And then I came back and my brain was like, you should work out because it makes you feel better. But my body's sore. My body's sore because of the extra weight, like emotional weight I've been carrying around lately, not the weight on my body. I tend to lose weight in my body when I feel stressed. So I was like, instead of working out, I'm just going to sit and do a really gentle meditation. So morning ritual is key. Once again, I teach you to do it hardcore. So when things do get hard, that it's easy just to follow the system, follow the process, listen and tune into your body, create the space. It's so important to create the space. So hopefully that's helpful to some of you, because sometimes it's like morning routine, you got to do this, 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 and this. And then as parents and business owners, it's like the business is in the way or the kids are in the way, and we get anxious and agitated that we're not ticking, that ego wants to tick the list. And we can't get it done because we've got kids crawling all over us or knocking their front teeth out. Or the business needs you. So really gentle and tune into your morning routines, particularly now while we've got the time and space. So then when things do start to ramp up a bit, now my battery's nearly flat. When things do start to ramp up a little bit, you're going to feel the difference and you're going to make a commitment to spending that time each day with yourself. So Katrina says, frustrating as there's so much misleading comments. I'm in the fitness industry and it's needed for mental health. I haven't been able to see family through this and I hate the unknown. We all need to learn how to live with this and move with it. Yeah, such a profound point, Katrina, because what's happening is there's so much uncertainty. We never really know, but we just have a false sense of security a lot of the time. So the unknown is hard, but I realize we don't really know much. We only think we know. And when I sort of grasped and understood and embodied that concept, it became this much easier. And that's what it's all about, just all the little bits and pieces that you can start to utilize and embody to make this process more organic and more flowing for you, because I don't think it's really ever going to be easy, right? It's here to test us. So yeah, I get that and I feel it. My brother's in the health industry as well. He's a personal trainer and going through the same thing. And I agree with you. Mental health is, the physical movement for mental health is one of the key components, one of the most important things, more so than most things out there. I think it should be you guys that can continue to work, but we'll find a way, right? Whether it's online or whatever, just continue to move your body and then all of your clients as well. So in terms of learning to live with it, I start calling it the new way. Like it's just the new way. And it's a new way of life. And we need to find new ways of living with it and dealing with it and associating with it and talking about it and feeling about it, so we don't have these massive like every time that it happens. So it's adapting, adjusting, flowing, getting to know yourself really well, getting new tools and techniques in your toolbox, like I said before, and just releasing the valve, releasing the valve, releasing the valve. Because this world's going to be in crisis point in the next little bit, with so many people having so much pressure on them. It's just going to go whoa. So we want to make sure that we keep releasing. Such a great way to look at things. Thank you. Fitness industry is really suffering, and if the fitness industry is suffering, then humans are suffering because we're a physical body. So we just need to find a way. I feel like this is we're finding a way. This is an opportunity to find a new way. And whether it's online, the connection is different, but we will find a better way. This is evolution, guys. This is evolution. And together, when we're not in fear and separation, divide and conquer, and everybody's fighting at each other and disagreeing with each other, it's like, I respect you and your journey and what you think and feel, and you respect me and my journey and what I think and feel. Whether I agree with it or not, I just respect you. And you likewise to me. Then we can come together and we move forward with love and light and support for each other. Instead of fighting, this is starting to happen a lot within families. The relationships are breaking up. One wants vaccination, one doesn't. All sorts of things. So we got to come together. We've got to know ourselves really well and respect ourselves and each other in all of our decisions. This brings up all the stuff. Time with a waterfall. Yes. Did anyone Google it for me yet? Totally all of them. Separated, lonely, and guilty. So another really good piece, a big piece of this, guys, is to recognize and realize and understand you are not on your own. When I say those words, separated, lonely, and guilty, I can guarantee 99.999% to 100 of people on this call have felt that in the past, are feeling it now, or let's say 100%, or will feel it in the future. So it's really important to know you're not on your own. It's not abnormal to feel lonely. It's not abnormal to feel separated. It's not abnormal to feel guilty and shitty in these times. What would be slightly abnormal is if everybody or anybody felt the way they think they want to feel right now. I want to be thriving. I want to be present. I want to have all my shit together. If you felt like that in these times, that's abnormal. That's not normal. You're going to be challenged. All the shit's being brought to the surface, not just individually, but collectively. And if you're okay with that, that is different. So I want you to understand that the way that you're feeling, even if you are feeling really centered and grounded in these times, that's okay. That's normal for you. As long as it's the true centered and grounded, and it's not the head in the sand. I did this at the start when Gus lost his job. Head in the sand, it's not really happening. I'm just going to carry on my days like everything's normal. And then it got to the point where the bills had to be paid and I was like, oh, there ain't no money coming in. What are we going to do? So yeah, no, you're not on your own in any of your feelings, but just be honest with yourself and let it all bubble to the surface. Michelle Pollitt, Shelley Bean says, thank you for your wise words and guidance. Have to go, but you'll watch the replay. Thank you for jumping on, gorgeous. I'm feeling it now. I'm journaling it and writing it down. Yes, the journal is going to be your best friend over the next bit of time. I went and got vegan Ben and Jerry's and a block of chocolate. You try what I told you to do, girlfriend, and see how it goes. You're just going to love it. It's going to change your experience. We've got donut broccoli pies coming up all over the place. There goes the tree again. I need to talk to Gus. We need a system. Whenever the tree falls, I just need him to make a noise. Oh yeah, I can see him. That's good. He's still here. Michelle just made pancakes. Bring me some. Yay, Kaz has just started her morning routine again. I bet you that feels good. I found myself watching David Attenborough. Oh, well, you're on the stepper. That's awesome. And Marita, hello and welcome. Be prepared for the next lockdown at the end of September. Predicting it now, just saying, yeah, got inside information. Oh, end of September. What are we now? make sure it's at the end, because we've got a retreat to hold in September, but I'm not going to think about that yet. See, this is the thing, guys. You've got decisions to make, big decisions. A lot of people out there that run events have stopped running events. We were in Cairns this time last week. No, we just got back from Cairns. We ran a 3-day retreat in Cairns, and it just worked. The timing worked around, and I expected it to work, but if it didn't, I was like, well, deal with it. What's the worst thing? So here's the key. Take this away. If you're watching this later, hashtag replay for me. Ask yourself, when you find yourself like in anxiety and going into the future and really starting to worry about things like booking things, the business, the bank account, the kids, whatever that you're worried about, the key question to ask yourself here to dissolve that is, what's the worst thing that can happen? And when you ask yourself, you go, what's the worst thing about that? And what's the worst thing about that? When you just ask yourself that question, and it just takes this massive, big, like awful scenario and goes, oh, it's just that, I can deal with that. And then you can overstep the hurdle, you can move on to the next thing, and the same cycle will happen again. There'll be fear, there'll be an anxiety, there'll be distraction for some of you, there'll be frustration, there'll be guilt, there'll be isolation, there's going to be loneliness, there'll be all the thing, it'll be this big. And this is the thing that you want to do, you know, get the office, buy the house, get the land, get a new job, start your own business, have children, whatever it is, and there's all this stuff around. I go, what if I do that? What's the worst thing that can happen? Oh, that. Okay, and what's the worst thing about that? Oh, it's just this. I can deal with that. Let's move on to the next thing. And this is the important thing to realize. Like, a lot of you think you're falling off the wagon all the time, but you're not. It's just the cycle of life. And it goes like this. Cycle of life, cycle of business. And sometimes we're at highs, sometimes we're at lows, sometimes we're somewhere in between. And people think when they're in a low, they've fallen off the wagon and they make themselves wrong, naughty, bad, and guilty. And then in times like this, when it all comes to the surface, you feel like shit, and your vibration drops, and then you get sick, or you're not looking after yourself, and then that ripples out to everybody else around you. So what we need to do is realize that it's a cycle. We have high points, we have low points, and everything in between. Just because you're having a bad day or a low point doesn't mean you're bad, naughty, or you need to be punished, or you've fallen off the wagon. It bloody well means you're human, and you've got the tools, techniques, community to step out of it. Don't unpack down there. Do not unpack down there. That's when people want to leave this world and go on to the next one. And, you know, that's okay too. That's another conversation. But we want you to know that just because you're having a bad day doesn't mean you fall off the wagon. It's part of having the good day later on. It can't always be good. And looking at this, like zooming ourselves out, and we've all had a pretty amazing time, and this is just a little blip in time that we get to choose our path forward, that we get to evolve through this, that we're going to build different relationships, different business, different way of connection. And mark my words, in the next couple of years, the growth and the development and the wholesome that will come from these times is going to be mind-blowing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years down the track, you won't even recognize yourself. You're going to look back at this live and be like, oh, I remember listening to that. I'll tag you all in 7-year time memory, if Facebook is even still here, and you'll be like, oh wow, it was so hard back then. But look what we've busted through. Look at this, what this hard time created. These new ways to evolve, these new ways to connect, these new ways to create income that don't require sacrifice and hard work. Like some of my friends in business, and myself included, and my sis included for the last little bit, have made more money than we ever dreamed of online, supporting people through this, writing my second book, starting the podcast, creating the protein blend, whatever it is. Like, it's been big. But had Gus not lost his job, I wouldn't have seeked out another way. I wouldn't have found another way. It'd still be on the 9, when it wasn't 9 to 5, it was shift work. He was away all the time. I was feeling isolated, guilty, lonely, resentful towards him because he was rarely home, but he was earning the income. Like, that had its own set of challenges. And this is the other thing to do in these times, right? Look at the way that you think you want it. Like, to feel like shit now, this is really important. So those of you who've hung around, it's really important. To feel like shit now, or have a struggle, hard time now, means that you've got a perfect case scenario in your head, and subconsciously you're comparing what you're experiencing now to the way that you think it should be. And this is a subconscious thing. So ask yourself, what's the perfect case scenario? If I could have my life exactly the way I wanted it right now, what would that look and feel like? So we're here, in order to have the down, we've got to have a subconscious version of the up and the perfect case scenario. And then when you pinpoint that perfect case scenario, it's going to start dissolve already. But what we want to do on this perfect case scenario is not just go into gratitude and love and light. No, is we want to diffuse this. We want to go, okay, well, what's the benefits of this? Because it's a fantasy state up here in your subconscious. What are the drawbacks of that? So you go to the benefits and the drawbacks of this state up here. So that's really powerful if you can do that. This is what you're experiencing. This is hard. This is icky. This is murky. I want you to ask yourself, what's the opposite? What did I think? What do I think I want to happen? Because most of you won't even be conscious of that. And even just by pinpointing what you think you want to happen, like let me say it again, in order to have this shitty feeling thing happening to you, your subconscious has to have a contrast. It needs to say, I feel shitty because I've got this and not that. Well, what is that? When we pinpoint this one, and then we go, well, what are the benefits of this? It's up here because it's a benefit, but what are the drawbacks of this? This is a perfect case scenario. I stay at work, it's all going amazingly, my clients love me. What are the drawbacks of that? False sense of security. It's stunted growth. And when you pull the drawbacks of the infatuation or fantasy, or the thing that you've subconsciously pegged up here, you'll just have such deep, grounded and poised gratitude for where you are right now, even when it's painful, even when you feel isolated. Because those are the things, that pain is the thing giving you a poke in the backside to move you into evolution. If you had it easy in the way that we think we want it all the time, the world would be a bloody basket case, I'm telling you. But anyway, I think I've gone over my time. I don't even know because my devices aren't working. Got a massive headache. So I need to get off this computer. Yep, it's nearly 1 o'clock. I've got another call at 2, but I'm going to go sit and make my children lunch and then sit with them. Kaz says, it's amazing how good a morning routine can make you feel. You set the state of your life every single morning when you wake up, consciously or subconsciously, guys. So do it with consciousness. Choose it. Choose you and choose your state and your momentum every moment of every day. But firstly, in the morning, choose you. Choose some time to do what you need to do to fill yourself up and navigate and get through anything that's thrown you at that day. Like, life is curveballs. Life is challenging and hard, and the shit hits the fan, and we're all being very challenged right now, just not with the waterfall, also with the chainsaw and the front teeth being knocked out and all the thing. But anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you, everybody. If you feel like this would be helpful, please share it around. Share it to your friendship groups. Share it to any groups that you're part of. And I just want to thank you all for believing in me, trusting me, being along on the journey with me. And yeah, if this has been helpful, also send me a PM. Let me know, because the inbox often gets filled with pains and traumas and struggles, which I'm helping people through. And it's always really nice to receive those testimonials and things that have helped you. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in, the support, the love. And yeah, you got this. I will see you. Check your inbox, and I'll see you over here online soon.